Okay, so we're listening to me. I'm Victor Stabin. The title of this is the Victor Stabin Project. Why project? You know why I use the word project a lot?
I do. Would you like to tell the audience?
Oh, you do?
I do.
Okay. So my dad worked on the Manhattan Project. And one of the things that are left behind from his life for me that I just really cherish is this. It's a document from the War Department signed by Henry Stimson. And Henry Stimson was the second man in charge of the United States from 1940 to 1945, the World War II era. And he was called the Secretary of War. And on this document, it thanks Jacob Stabinsky for his effort in the Manhattan Project. And Jacob Stabinsky was my father's name before he changed it to Jack Stabin. He changed it in 1948. And on the document is a picture of the letter A in a circle with a bomb behind it. And it's an A bomb. And it's from 1945. I don't know if it's really this guy Henry Stimson's signature, because 5,000 people alone worked at Oak Ridge, Tennessee, where
They definitely had a girl
signing his name.
Yeah, there was definitely,
It's a nice signature. It's done with a fountain pen, and it's got his old name on it. It's funny, on the back of it, it has a little note in light pencil. He had a really fantastic handwriting. And it says, court date 1948. Judge Schmuck was the judge's name. And he had to go down to court to have his name changed because he wanted to anglicize it to Jack Stabin.
Yeah.
But he had to do it in front of a judge named Schmuck. So, anyway, burnout. What does it have to do with burnout?
Has nothing to do with burnout. That's just the intro.
Burnout. The intro, right. Okay, so it has to do with the word project. So that's where the Victor Stabin Project comes from. The word project is from the making of the atom bomb. And it's actually started out in Manhattan, in Columbia University. And that's why they called it the Manhattan Project. So this is all folklore history that I didn't read. I just heard from people who were there. So anyway, this week I had burnout. I've been going pretty constant for like the last year, working 7 days a week, doing way too many things every day. And you burned me out, John.
Sorry. I was just ready to go.
I know. You're a little younger than me.
We had
you're raring to go. And you want to work 7 days a week, and that's okay.
We had 2 days off. I didn't know what to do.
You didn't know what to do.
I didn't know what to do. I sat around for like the first half of the day, like maybe I'll waste some time here and I'll play video games or something. And I sat down and I couldn't do it. I wanted to work. So I downloaded Illustrator lessons and just started teaching myself something work related. I don't know if that's healthy or...
Well, you weren't burnt out. Okay,
No.
So I basically...
You were the one that was burnt out.
I basically saw a couple of videos that were made. One, somebody came in my studio, took a picture of me. I didn't like the way I looked. Then you did something with me where we made a vlog, prints that don't sell.
Yeah,
and I was looking at myself and I was going, Jesus, you're really burning it at both ends. And then you were asking me to sign out. This is Victor Stabin. So happy that you guys are viewing this today. Go see my YouTube channel and subscribe. I couldn't say that without losing it.
Right.
So I was thinking, well, I'm working with this guy. I don't want him to think I'm that diminished, but it was just too hard for me to like follow something that wasn't scripted. And since I can't read from a script without sounding like I'm reading from a script, I started to lose my mind. And I just said to myself, you've got to sleep, right? I just needed to sleep.
Totally.
So
yeah.
I tried to go to sleep, but so many things are jumping around in my head.
Yep.
I think I texted you at 6 o'clock in the morning and said,
Yep.
I am becoming a sleep-deprived zombie, or I am a sleep-deprived zombie. I can't work for the next 2 days. The following 2 days, mostly I slept. Feeling a little bit more normal now. I don't know if I sound normal, but I also stopped drinking. So I haven't had a drink in, I would say, like 57 hours.
That's a long time.
If you drink every day, I guess it's a long time. I really don't miss it. I feel pretty good. I stopped drinking, and you know what? I don't have to drink every day, but I thought to myself, when are you going to start drinking again?
Yeah.
I'm not going to start drinking until I lose 10 pounds.
10 pounds.
10 fucking pounds.
Count down.
10 pounds. There's half of them.
There goes everybody.
That's
They're done
5
listening.
pounds.
Everyone stops listening at that moment. Just slammed.
Yeah, I got to lose weight, so I got to have a treat. And my...
What's your drink going to be? You'll come up with it.
No, it doesn't matter.
It'll
doesn't matter.
It'll come
something
up.
in a glass.
Something in a glass.
Or something in a bottle in an alley.
So I was saying you're now going to wait until you lose 10 pounds to start drinking again.
So I can gain it back.
So you can gain it back within 10 drinks. So, how long do you think that's going to take?
Hey, you know what? I said it. I didn't write it down. And I hope that I could, get a little discipline. That's all. It's...
You like to drink. It's hard to do sometimes.
What? Not drink?
Have discipline on things that you come up with your own self,
You know what? I'm thinking the better I am to myself, the better these podcasts are going to be.
Not just podcasts.
Everything.
Well, everything.
Yeah, everything. So, since I'm announcing it on this podcast...
You got to stick to it.
Well, I got to stick to it, but when I do drink, we should do it on a podcast.
Oh.
Right.
There we go. Hey, that's going to be the new rule.
Start the podcast sober, end it out of your mind. Well, folks, we got to go now.
We'll see you next time. Can you imagine saying Victor Stabin project while you're shit-faced? Just hammered.
We'll see what happens. I can imagine a lot of things, and that's in the scope of my imagination.
That's something to look forward to.
Okay. So we spoke about Ben last week, and Ben said he listened to the podcast. And
he did.
Said it was okay.
We were very complimentary.
Yeah, so there are people who actually like these things.
Yeah.
Well, this second one makes it these things. So Prints That Don't Sell. So Prints That Don't Sell made me stop drinking. And prints still aren't selling, but the more we talk about it, maybe I'll bring them to an AA meeting or something. I don't go to AA, but I know people who do.
Eventually when you graduate to the big boys leagues.
Yeah, right.
And you really got to stop.
When I really stop drinking, I'm going to bring Prints That Don't Sell to a meeting and go, this is why I'm here.
These prints. And you're going to start throwing them at people like last time. That vlog, though, is going to be there forever.
Which one?
The Prints That Don't Sell one. Right, so nobody saw the video, decided they want to buy the print yet, right?
Oh, I'm optimistic.
That's not discouraging because it's still going to be there. People are going to continually see it more and more.
I'm not doing this because the doctor said you have a terminal disease and you only have 6 weeks left.
Right.
He said 3 weeks, but anyway,
right.
Prints That Don't Sell. Wait 3 weeks, then scoop them up. Anyway, so that was a joke. Comedy's dangerous. Leave it to the professionals. So the next thing we have on the list is the Atom animation.
Yeah, Ben sent a tiny bit of the sequence for your upcoming animation short. It's up on Facebook right now.
It's up the atomic loop or the whole
the atomic loop.
So we have the atom looming over the meadow going to the land of milk and honey. Is that on Facebook?
Yep, it's just
both things, the little thing and the 30-second thing.
30-second thing.
There's a 30-second segment. It goes from the atom looming over the meadow to Einstein looking at a crystal ball.
Single frame. It's not the whole sequence. It's a loop of the atom and its animation. It's actually really cool. Check it out on Facebook. It's the cover video right now.
It's on the header?
Yeah.
Does it fit?
I made it fit. That's what you asked me to do. I did it.
Did you have to elongate it or just crop it?
I let Ben know what dimensions I needed and what codec.
Do you need a longer background?
No.
Wow. Okay. Something I can't wait to see.
Yep.
You know what the title of it is?
Title of?
That little piece. I titled it.
What is the title?
Atomic Loop.
Atomic Loop.
Yeah, it's a loop.
It's
You actually said it a moment
kinda,
ago,
yeah.
right? So I think Atomic Loop is a pretty cool title.
Yeah.
And
That's the title of this podcast.
Atomic Loop. So again, with the podcast, we have an atom that has sheep in it. So there's a lot of
There's a
that.
theme going on here.
Yeah, that's a lot of
Unintentional.
that. Well, we started at Oak Ridge, Tennessee. We got all the way to an atom. So what else can I say about that atomic loop thing?
Well, you could say that I've seen some of the sequences that are still going. So that animation's still being made, and it's progressing.
One of the things that I have are shapes that I like. I have favorite shapes, right?
Okay.
And that may not make sense to a lot of people, but if you're an artist, you might find yourself repeating certain motifs dimensionally. And one of the motifs that I really like is the shape of the ellipse.
Yeah.
And I like spirals. So that's where that comes from all the time. Okay, so Airbnb magazine. It's on this list. I don't think it's meaty enough, but why is it here?
It's here because you had another magazine that you were talking about before, where you made some mock-ups to sell them prints, and I thought that was interesting. I thought we might want to share that, the story of that, see if we can do it in the future.
What are you talking about?
You made mock-ups
For what?
for a furnishing.
Oh, CB2, Crate and Barrel 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tell the story of that.
Okay, here you go. Well, I'm not proud of this story, but I took a Crate and Barrel 2 magazine and I scanned in pictures of bedrooms, dining rooms, living rooms, and then I photoshopped in my artwork. And so it's on my website somewhere. If you go to the website and you look for the typeface, you could buy 23 by 23 inch prints of my typeface. And if you frame them and put them in your room, like when I say them, I mean a particular letter. Each letter took me about a week to make. So each letter is a piece of separate art. Let's say your name is Alice, and you love the letter A.
Okay.
And let's say your name is Alice, you love the letter A, and you have a boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
And the boyfriend's considerate. He might buy one of these prints, get it framed, and say, "This is for your birthday whenever it comes up." He's so considerate.
So considerate.
He doesn't even wait for the birthday.
That he goes to VictorStabin.com right now.
He finds it.
Yeah.
So what I did was I set up these situations where my illuminated letters, and I'll call them that, are in different rooms. And the interesting thing about these particular letters are when you isolate them and put them on a wall in a room. When I say isolate them, because I have the whole alphabet up in my gallery. But when you just take one letter up, put one letter up, it really commands your attention in the room. It's a very magical product, and that's more seen than heard about. But you asked me about the CB2 thing?
Yeah, you made these mock-ups.
So I made these mock-ups. I put them on my website, but I also put them in a package to send to CB2.
And where are they now?
They're on the floor for the last 2 or 3 years. I never sent it out, and that is a personality defect. I don't know why I didn't do it.
When I hear that,
yeah,
that's why I wanted to talk about it, because when I hear that, I just go,
let's send it out.
Let's send it out right now.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at it.
Yeah.
Is it worth anything?
Oh, it's worth something, because you never know what's going to happen.
Well, yeah, and I keep repeating you're always 2,000 cold calls away from.
Oh, the only reason why you don't fail the only reason why you do not succeed is because you haven't failed enough.
Right.
So Oliver Stone. Who's Oliver Stone? Son. Oliver Stone, he's a movie director.
Mm.
He did the JFK movie.
Oh, he did that. The only one that I know him from is The Doors.
He did the Doors movie.
Which is not very good.
His first movie was... I like Oliver Stone. He's always engaging. He's always pushing it and coloring it in the direction he wants people to see it. But
so Oliver Stone.
His first movie was Midnight Express, which I actually never saw.
I know the soundtrack, but I don't know.
Midnight Express. The reason why I never saw it, when it came out, they said that these two guys had a fight. One guy bit another guy's tongue off. I said, I can't see that. So anyway, I never saw that movie, but I've seen a lot of Oliver Stone movies. And the funny thing about Midnight Express is he sent the screenplay out to 216 people before he got a bite.
Wow.
And that's the nature of selling a piece of creative
The context of that,
art.
too, is you're talking about a movie,
Yeah.
right? 216 is probably the whole industry at that point, right?
Who knows?
Right?
I mean, it was easily about 35 years ago.
Yeah.
So, the CB2 thing, we don't send it out to CB2. We send it out to 216 CB2s, but we have to find them. And that's doable.
CB 262.
Say it again?
We're looking for CB 262.
CB2 216. Don't push it too far. It's like
It's got to have limits
that's
here.
like an extra 44. Come on. So anyway, so there you go.
Don't you have
Airbnb magazine.
Don't you have another project that was like that you were telling me about? You have another thing that you made a...
Well,
last time we talked about the magazine.
All right, I did a cover.
We talked about it last podcast. But do you have any other
We can't
projects?
talk about that again.
Do you have any other projects that are like that? Where you made a mock-up for something and didn't get it out?
Yeah, I do have one other thing. And the thing is, I didn't get it out. Doesn't mean I'm not getting it out. But I have the Turtle series. And in the Turtle series, I have about 15 paintings. I made something that's about 44 inches wide, about 12 inches tall, maybe 13 inches tall. And there's 3 paintings on this roll, on this like strip of paper.
Okay.
And so there's 3 images, and it has my name and telephone number underneath it. And I have to say, I'm extremely proud of these 3 images. And there are galleries in New York that I should take this promotion that I made for myself, put it in the tube, send it out, and send that out to 100 different galleries. See what happens. I bet somebody would call me back. Thing is, once I do that, my life is going to change so radically, which would probably be for the best. I don't know. You never know what's going to happen with galleries because they're like a strange animal in that I don't know how they work, and sometimes I don't know how to protect you. I've heard a lot of horror stories.
Right.
So the thing is, if a gallery said to me, this is great, we might need another couple of paintings, that would get me back into finishing the next couple of paintings I want to finish. But everything in the gallery in Jim Thorpe would leave.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, so
then you gotta make new stuff.
I gotta make new stuff. Gotta make new stuff. So there is that thing that I have to send out. And plus, on the wall in my studio, and I'll introduce you to this, there is an ad for a gallery consortium where they had what they call the Armory Show. And in this particular show, they'll have under one roof, like 200 galleries or something. And there's one group of galleries, like maybe 60 galleries, that took out this ad. I can take each gallery name, make these strips of print up, make 60 prints up, put them in tubes, send them out. I've done my due diligence to this process.
Why don't you have Jenny make a spreadsheet of those?
It's got to be done.
And get
it's got to be done.
Get it out.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'll show you this to you later.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That sounds so.
Well, so the thing is, I have a lot of things that I could do to promote myself.
Yes.
But the action of making these things is more fun than promoting them.
Absolutely.
The action of actually organizing them in some sort of like print campaign is kind of more fun than sending them out. And the next action is the grunge part that just says, okay, so now you have to spend the next 2 weeks getting the names, filling the tubes, sending them out. And I have about 2 or 3 projects that are like that. You know, at the same time, I am on the street. I am getting my work out in different ways, but not enough. Hey, we're doing this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, this is part of it. Like, this is a stress-free way of getting your message out there and telling your story.
Hey, what me worry? So the next thing that I think we should talk about is the thing that I really want to get out that I worked on. And that is the dictionary curriculum. We didn't speak about that last week. And we have probably mentioned Daedal Doodle on and off in different ways.
Yes.
Okay, so Daedal Doodle led to so many strange left-hand turns in the middle of the night. I started the ABC book while I was doing the Turtle series, and I got this bug to finish it. I did not want to leave it hanging, and it took me about 3.5 years of reading about 4,000 pages of dictionaries twice, coming up with about 28 different illustrations, 26 I used in the book, and maybe 34 different illustrations, 32 I used in the book. I don't know. There's extra illustrations in the book. But one of the things that happened was, as I was making the book, in the gallery, in one of the galleries in my building, I had an empty room that was framed with every page in the book that hadn't been done yet, right? And so I had a room full of empty frames. It looked like some sort of spacey grid from Stanley Kubrick's 2001: A Space Odyssey. Right. And the frames would talk to me. They would say, "You must fill me, you must fill me, you must fill me." And like every week or every other week, I would come up with something, and my goal was to fill another frame. By the time I finished the room, the Allentown Art Museum found me, and they asked me to have a one-man show at the Allentown Art Museum, which is actually a beautiful little museum. It's like a mini metropolitan museum of art. It's in Allentown. It's beautifully appointed, and they gave me the whole children's gallery, which I loved because it was about a 3,000 square foot room, and I filled it. And then what happened was they got a terrific response from people seeing the work, and they asked me to be a teacher in residence, an artist in residence in different schools in my rural area. And so the first class I gave, I had 26 students.
Yeah.
So I said, we're going to make an ABC book. And it was successful. I was a successful teacher. 9 out of 10 times, it really worked well. And then I just thought, I can't go around doing this. They would employ me to do this for the rest of my life. I could go out every day and be the Johnny Appleseed of vocabulary,
right,
using the dictionary. I don't want to do that. I love doing it, but I don't want it to be my full-time job for whatever reasons are obvious. And I started to wind up with assets. The classes that I was teaching, the teachers started making their own Daedal Doodle books. So they started making their own ABC books. They were mimicking my book. I got involved with that, and I showed them an easier way to make a simpler book. And so everything started to become organized. As I would teach a class, there would be a product that looked similar to the product that came before, doing different imagery. And one of the things that happened while I was reading the dictionary was, as an illustrator, you have to come up with visual concepts all the time that appeal to broad audiences.
Yeah.
And to appeal to a broad audience without pandering, you kind of have to be clever.
That's a fine line.
It is a fine line. It's like you're not pandering. You want to make it interesting for yourself, but you realize you're working with a broad audience. So if you're working on an assignment-based project and you bring something in that's a little too far out, it kind of gets knocked back. Come back and make it simpler. And so reading the dictionary and looking up words, I read the dictionary, looked up words that were unfamiliar to me, and I would write down at least 25 words on a page that begin with the letter N, for instance. And each one lent itself to a visual. I'd read the word, as I would scan the list up and down, I would come up with ideas. And what I found, this is what happened. What happened was I found myself in a situation where I was getting more ideas than I ever could get before. I was getting more visuals in my head than I ever got before in my life. And I just felt like something's happening like that. There's a movie called Limitless. I don't know if you know. So this guy can think faster.
Okay.
And
You're having this moment.
I was having this moment that was sort of like an out-of-body moment. And I was coming up with more trippy ideas, and they weren't being locked in because I was working for a client. I was working for myself. So I left illustration, but now I'm working on a book that has illustrations in it. but I'm the last word as far as what I can use or can't use. And I was coming up with these kind of psychedelic, extraordinary, very dream, fantasy-driven characters. And I was coming up with them fast. And I thought they were super clever. And sometimes I try to keep them so they didn't get crazy. And sometimes I said, go as crazy as you can. And the crazier I went, the more I liked this stuff. So one of the things that happens when you can come up with ideas, it builds your self-esteem. And I've worked with a lot of different people doing different, I've worked with different people on this building, for instance. And so I've worked with a lot of contractors who are basically in awe of my ability to create art. And every one of them has said to me, I used to draw, but I couldn't think of ideas. And so
that's better than the alternative to that.
What?
That branch of I can't draw.
Right. I used to draw, but I found myself not coming up with ideas. I didn't know what to draw. I went into a different field, and I think that the process of learning how to think. I think the process of my process of using vocabulary to come up with ideas will build self-esteem so that you will be familiar with thinking creatively and allowing things to come in, and filters will dissolve and ideas will present themselves. And this sounds really trippy, okay?
Well, it's an inside baseball thing. Like, as an artist, you get it, right? Because even, I'm doing music, it's the same sort of thing. You'll approach writing songs in a totally different way sometimes. And it completely opens you up to a new possibility. Art's the same way. You're introducing a bunch of words and they're giving you endless ideas because you haven't considered them before. They weren't in part of that process. Is that fair to say?
It is fair to say. And I actually knew that words would lead to ideas, but I never sat down and made a list of 26 words.
Right.
And they tumble on each other with visuals. And so, just to sort of get to the point, when I was giving this assignment to students and telling them how I did it, these kids who didn't have a clue that they can conceptualize visually
we're getting a starter.
Were coming up with stuff that was as clever as New Yorker cartoons. And they were coming over to me, thanking me, because they were basically saying, I didn't know I could be a part of something that was so unusual. I didn't know that I could do this. And I'm of the belief that, the brain, it's working. You just have to open a couple of doors and step right through. And there's this moment where somebody says to you, here's the door, and I'll show you how to get through it. And so what I did was I took all the assets that I have from all the different classes, books that were made, from all the different books that were made from different classes. How many times can I say that sentence differently? So I have all these different Daedal Doodle books made by the 5th graders, 8th graders, 11th graders,
and we
12th graders. We touched on this last time.
Yeah,
and
links in.
Teachers that went back to school to get teaching credit.
Mm-hmm.
And I put them in a box with a dictionary, with a drawing pad, with a legal pad, with a copy of my book, with a pamphlet that I made, explaining the whole process, and a pen, and a pencil, and a rubber eraser.
All the things you would need to draw.
All the things you would need to draw, plus a dictionary, right? And I put it in a 12 by 12 box that's about 4 inches high. It's red. And my goal is to send it out to 689 different high school art teachers. Now, why art teachers? Because when I showed up in school, I tried to sell my book initially to art book publishers, and they said to me, this is not an art book, this is a children's book. And I bring it to children's book publishers, and they say, this is not a children's book, this is an art book.
Mm-hmm.
But when I got thrown into educational situation, the art teachers looked at it and said, this is fantastic. You could see the lights go on, and their eyeballs were just like beaming. And I think what happened was the art class, which is not taken seriously enough, is now attached to vocabulary building. So the art class immediately has a certain gravitas that other teachers can easily understand.
Right.
So And then there's another thing that's going on too, and it's going on with everybody right now. You who are listening probably have a cell phone. Any piece of information that you want to glean right now, you can get out of your cell phone. You want it, it's there. Somebody's already cataloged it for you. Except creativity. You want creativity, go to your cell phone and write in creativity, see what comes up. It's not going to be that personal. So what this... What?
You go and do that right now. There's like a meme of Abe Lincoln riding a shark. Gonna come. That's creativity on the internet.
But that is kind of creativity. That's probably like Abe Lincoln riding a shark and
being chased by a bear.
Whatever porn is attached to that. But
right.
Nevertheless, what this assignment does...
That's the wave there.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not going into that. But what this assignment does is it gives you something that you can't necessarily find through a search engine. It brings personal experience into a creative machine. How do I say this? Okay, I started to say personal experience. When you go in the dictionary and you start looking for words, strangely, you find words that you actually have a personal connection with. And for instance, the word chelonia means turtle. It's one of the alliterations in my book, the Couchuncoidal chelonia. I know I sound like I'm babbling right now, but the word chelonia means turtle. When I found it in the dictionary, I said, oh, a new word for turtle. I'm doing all these turtle paintings. And then I found the word caoutchouc. Caoutchouc is the resin that kneaded erasers are made out of. And the kneaded erasers, that's an eraser I've been using as an artist for the last 50 years. So I made a turtle with an extremely long neck, right? Turtles stick their neck out of the shell. This neck is like 3 times the length of the turtle. And it's gorgeously illustrated, blah, blah, blah. But the thing is, I'm coming up with things that I haven't been able to find before I started reading the dictionary. And I'm finding things that I'm personally connected with. And so as one of the things that's going on, I could get back to the telephone, you can find all the information you need on your iPhone, but you're not going to come up with unique personal ideas. So what I was trying to say in a very long-winded way is I think the art class is the most important class in school. And people hear me say that and they go, don't you think you're a little biased? I think I'm very biased.
Absolutely, of course.
But for me, I think that it built more self-esteem. It made me more legitimate. And I did something that I had never done before, that I've never seen before. One of the things where publishers aren't knowing what to do with my work is because it doesn't fit into a mold.
They're not seeing it. That's what it is. That makes sense.
Well, they're not seeing it, but that could mean like what? When you say that?
Meaning they're not seeing a stack of 100 of these, and so they don't know it's a market that's out there already, like a target market that they're aware of. So they're, when they do like the lists for what they're shipping out, right?
Yeah.
When stores buy things, it's not already in a category of best new fantasy fiction or best new, it's not. It doesn't have one of those yet.
Well,
it's original. It's kind of a curse in a way, right?
It's a little bit of a curse, but what happens is you're sort of out on a limb, right?
Right.
But when somebody finds it and it's found,
once there's enough people on a limb, you all fall down.
That's not what
into
I was getting
a pile
at.
of money.
But it's a little bucket, a mattress full of money.
Yeah.
But once you're found and you're out on that limb, you don't have competition. You did something unique, and there isn't like 10 different people's doing that particular style, and you have to compete with them. You are a unique product, and the job gets back to, Oliver Stone, 216 different places rejected his manuscript before one found it.
Yeah.
And so the whole issue with that is getting off your ass and making sure that 216th person who finds it, who turns you into like an overnight sensation, finds it before you croak.
Yeah. Right.
You got to be alive. Or you got to just hope that, my ancestors,
right,
my great-grandchildren are going to whatever college they want, if in fact that's important to them. So anyway, that is
So you've got
that is rambling from Airbnb magazine.
educational dictionary curriculum.
So I have the educational dictionary curriculum. I want to figure out how to
Get it to those schools.
get the funding for it. So I don't sell it to the schools. They just get it. And I've estimated for me to get it to the almost 700.
So you want to find an intermediary to like underwrite this? Just pay.
I have to figure out how to get a grant for it or a philanthropist to.
If you're out there listening,
right now,
Victor at victorstabin.com.
But basically, I think that the real job is to get it into the hands of high school students, high school teachers without them buying it. It just shows up. It almost explains itself the way certain gizmos, like an iPhone, you figure out how it works. You figure out how your iPad works. You don't really look at an instruction manual. And you see what happens once it gets
Speaking
delivered
of not
to the
looking
culture. What?
Speaking of not looking at an instruction manual, you just asked me to show you how to
work my iPad. I just want to figure out how to get Grammarly on my iPad. That's different. So, that's self-defeating.
What's that?
You don't have to throw that in.
What?
I don't know.
A little bit of humor.
It's
good.
Yeah, think anybody understands it?
No, I'll just cut it out.
Okay.
It's gone.
I don't know. Maybe you should leave it in. Oh, they have private jokes.
Weekend print. Last weekend sold prints, right? What's sold?
No, I want to keep on talking about my dictionary curriculum. I'll tell you why. So Jenny went to the Statue of Liberty.
When did she go?
Last week.
Okay.
And
for fun?
Yeah.
She went to New York.
She went to New York.
Or did she go right to the
Statue of Liberty? You have to get tickets for it. You have to do it online.
You can take the boat. They have the boat. The free boat. The Long Island Ferry?
You take your car. You park in New Jersey.
Called?
You take the train from New Jersey to the boat in Manhattan.
Where there's
and then you go to the boat in Manhattan. You go to the Statue of Liberty and Ellis Island.
Yeah.
Right? Now, the whole thing about sending out 700 boxes and getting $200,000 to do it is, it seems like a mountain of work, like a pie in the sky thing that you can do.
Yeah.
What's the biggest pie in the sky art project ever made? Statue of Liberty.
Way bigger than that.
Name it.
The national monuments. The stone faces in the mountain. United States presidents. It's huge. It's the biggest.
I want to have this argument. I don't want to argue.
Brazil, the statue of the saint, which is like huge.
All right, I don't want to have an argument, but there are monuments or there are projects.
There's huge.
The Statue of Liberty
is among them.
Some French artist said, "We want to make a statue in the New York Harbor."
Right.
And he had to figure out how to finance it. And I think it took him 20 years to get it together.
Whoa.
Right? And I look at the Statue of Liberty, and I don't know if you've ever seen components of the statue before it was totally assembled, but they're shockingly big. And, like, people are working on these things.
Yeah.
And, they're thinking, the guy I'm working for, he says we're going to assemble this in America on a little island, right? And somebody's going to pay for it.
What would have happened?
What?
What would have happened if they would have had some kind of accident on the way?
Oh, that guy probably would have gone down with a ship. Anyway, so that's cruel. That's a cruel thought. Well, you know what? Think of it in terms of like how many things didn't get built that went that far that just we don't even know about.
Oh, right.
My God, there's a whole world out there that's missing. So anyway, if he can build the Statue of Liberty, and I should know his name, and I will the next podcast. It is a guy.
Okay.
Yeah. Are you making a point?
No. Did I say it like that?
I saw pictures of him. This person was wearing pants.
Statue of Liberty.
Could have been George Sands. Anyway, so if somebody could get this together, I think I could get this together. I think there's a halo effect that goes along with education. And I think that people should want to be a part of it. My goal with the dictionary curriculum is to start out with building self-esteem through vocabulary so that people can think creatively instead of tribally. We'll see what happens.
We'll see. We'll keep you updated on it.
Okay, so we have another topic.
So when I came in on Monday to film, you had the poster, your film, the animation poster that you made a while ago, right?
Yeah,
For the one that has yet to come out.
that's right. It has not come out yet.
And I said it was really cool. And I commented on something that could be vectorized, which was the handwritten script.
Yeah.
There's a handwritten script in the middle. But you said a gentleman purchased one over the weekend.
Okay, so I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
It had handwritten script in it, but who cares on a podcast? So anyway, thing is, it's a poster for equals MC cubed, and equals MC cubed. Cubed means to the third power, like 2 times 2 times 2 is cubed. So equals MC3 is how it looks, which is kind of funny if you think that E equals MC squared is the way things are supposed to look. Anyway, somebody saw this, and it's script letters broadly written across a poster page, and in the middle of the poster page is a picture of a refrigerator, and at the bottom of the poster is the back of Einstein's head, so the bottom of the poster is all filled with Einstein's hair. I don't know if I just said that 2 times in 3 different ways, but the poster's got lettering in it, a refrigerator in it, and Einstein's hair in it. On top of the refrigerator is a fishbowl with my Daedal Doodle character in it, because it's a refrigerator that happens to be a perpetual motion machine that's driven by a doodle that I made.
Yep.
And I'm making it into a 15-minute animation, which is pretty beefy for an animation if you're not really an animator. So anyway, I made a movie poster for it. And the reason why I made a movie poster for it is because at the rate I'm going, I hope I'm alive to see it finished. But at least I could make the poster. We spoke about the genius of Ben Arthur last week.
Last time, and we talked about the animation.
And we talked about
so this
the
is
animation.
like the last week on...
We're going to talk about the animation every time we have one of these conversations until it's done. Then we're going to talk about people viewing the animation. But somebody came in and saw the poster, which I wasn't thinking of it in terms
It wasn't displayed to be sold.
It wasn't displayed to be sold.
Right.
And somebody said that they had to have it. The reason why they had to have it was because they were a chemical engineer who grew up in Queens, New York, and the guy wanted to go to MIT. And his father said to him, he happens to be 73, his father said to him way back when, over 50 years ago, E equals MC squared is the same as at Queens College as it is at MIT.
Right.
You're going to Queens College.
It's kind of a funny thing to say.
It's kind of a funny thing to say.
And in some ways, it's right.
It's an obnoxious argument. And he looked at the poster and said, I have to have this. So I printed out one and it had a green tint to it that made it look fantastic. I don't know why. But the green tint gave it this like little touch of sophistication. And then I had to clean my printer because it wasn't printing correct colors. So I gave him 2 posters. And he's now my best friend. I don't know if I'll ever see him again, but it's a lock for life. And you wanted to talk about posters.
What else did you give him?
What else did I give him?
Isn't this the guy you gave the prints to?
I gave him 2 prints.
Yeah, and now I want you to imagine, I walk in and you tell me the story.
Yeah.
I go, you just gave him prints? He
gave me money.
Well, he gave you money for the prints.
Yeah.
But then isn't this the same guy that had the other prints to take back to New York?
Oh, no, that's another story.
Oh, that's another story. Well, let's talk about that guy, too. But I said that, speaking of the poster guy, I said that was like a lifetime. There was a sale, a lifetime in the making.
It was a sale that was 55 years in the making.
He's a perfect guy for it. He had a personal connection to it, and he just saw it.
So if you wait long enough, you'll sell this stuff. Those prints that won't sell?
Yeah.
He's selling.
They'll sell.
Yeah, okay.
We'll talk to you guys in 69 years. I'll be here the same age as Victor.
Oh, that's me.
No. I'll be fast approaching. So the other story is the guy that you sent with the prints.
All right,
to deliver.
Anthony Frieda came by out of the blue, and he has a gallery in Port Jefferson, Long Island, and he asked me if I'd like to put some artwork in it, and all of a sudden, he left out of the blue, and I didn't put it together that I had a couple of things framed that he could have taken with him. and I'm not adverse to like going for a ride, but it's a long ride. It's like over 150 miles. And just as we were closing last Sunday, Justin, the slide trombone player from down the block, comes in. He goes, "Hey, how you doing? I brought my brother." And I said, "Oh, hi. I have no idea who this guy is."
Yeah.
And he said to me, "Oh, I met you. You were really nice. You showed me the animation." And then he said to me, "I bet you've done that with a lot of people." So I'm your neighbor. I live down the block. He started talking, and he plays slide trombone. He's a jazz musician who plays slide trombone. And we started talking about musical references. We really got along. The place closed. Joan and I wound up making him and his brother Keith dinner. And we hung out for about 2.5 hours. And then I was talking to Joan about the opportunity of that I could have given Anthony, whose gallery is in Port Jefferson,
Yeah.
the Prince. And then she said to me, Justin is going to Long Island tomorrow. It's about 15 minutes away from where Anthony is.
Go figure.
And so he brought my framed artwork home, and Anthony hopefully picked it up.
Did it make it? Do you know if it made it yet?
I didn't want to find out.
It's a mystery.
I just hope it made it.
I know you sent me the poster for it, for the showing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a show that's starting in Port Jefferson, I think this weekend.
So if you're in the area, do you know the address?
I don't know the name of the gallery. I think it's called the Star Gallery.
Star Gallery.
Yeah.
Check it out.
So if you looked up Anthony Frieda Star Gallery, Port Jefferson, you're there. All right. So that's kind of lame not knowing this name of the gallery. But
lessons being learned, you know.
Well, you got to prepare. Twitch upgrades coming. You want to talk about that?
Well, it ties back to... here's what we could say. This week, you did not do a Twitch stream because we took the 2 days off.
I was losing my mind.
And we're going to return with a new schedule for next week that we've yet to decide upon. Or do we want to decide upon that and put that in the podcast? That's the decision we have to make.
Oh, let's figure it out, because if somebody...
All right, so last week we didn't do the stream because we had burnout. But next week we're going to be doing it on Thursday.
Exactly. That's why I want to talk about Prints That Don't Sell.
At 5 p.m.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
We're having two different conversations
Let's
at
go.
the same time. Oh,
Let's
I thought of something. Prints That Don't Sell, I took them down because they don't sell. But in the back, this is news to you.
Okay.
In the back is a wall that has an angle on it that is a cement abutment in this room that holds the mountain out of the building, and then on top of it is this additional square that's cut on an angle. And I'm thinking of putting the Prints That Don't Sell in that particular trapezoid. And the funny thing is my friend came by with a surgeon's lamp that's on 5 wheels that has a gooseneck that's about 7 feet long, and it spotlights.
Who does this? Who just brings that?
Okay, my friend Tom has a friend who collects old medical equipment from all over the country.
Who does that? I mean, that's like a very
Well, he has
specific...
a friend, I forget his name. We'll call his friend John.
Yeah.
And he collects stuff from all over the world. He collects stuff from all over the country. And he sells it all over the world. But he has so much stuff that he brings me stuff randomly. He knows I like weird lights. So the Prints That Don't Sell are going to be lit up, not to sell, in the back room. Anyway, so let's get back to this thing. You don't have to use this, but it just popped into my head. This is stream of consciousness.
No, that's all right.
So on
find a place for it.
Thursday at 5 o'clock, we're going
Thursday at 5 p.m. East, we're going to do a stream on Twitch.
Okay.
And that gives us time, because I was looking into how we're going to up the quality of the camera that shows what you're drawing.
All right, so we need a better quality if we're showing me drawing.
Absolutely. I mean, last time we did it in 720p, which is okay, but not what we're looking for.
It's a little distant. You want to be on top of it.
Yeah. You want it, not only do you want to be on top of it, but you want it to be clear at any distance. You know?
Exactly.
Yeah. There's 2 options. I have to speak to Joan about her camera, the camera that she does have.
Yeah.
If she's got a camera that has a HDMI output, we can send that directly to your computer. If she doesn't, you'll just go ahead and get a like $150 webcam and hook that up.
I can't wait.
There's two options. Yeah. And the other cool thing is we have to meet, and we'll probably talk about this on a vlog. I'll be constantly showing you what I'm working on, but you need a bunch of graphics for your stream that have to be made. And you were taking a look at that one woman's stream and you liked what she had.
The fact that she was showing.
She had advertisements. She showed her work.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to do that all for you and have that ready for Thursday.
Okay. And what about the helicopter?
And we're going to be doing some production stuff.
Okay, so do we talk about the helicopter, or does it just come in? Because at this point, I'm asking about the helicopter. I've asked twice.
Wondering about the helicopter.
I've asked for the helicopter a third time.
Do we want to?
Begging.
Are we putting the helicopter in this one?
Well, I just thought of something. There's a fly in the room, right?
Yes.
I don't know. Did you hear it?
I did hear it.
I don't know if it got picked up by the phone.
It's definitely not going to get picked up by the phone.
Not going to get picked up by the phone. But if we don't get a helicopter, I wouldn't mind getting a sound effect of a gigantic insect. Swarming it.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So nobody knows what we're really talking about now, but it's going to be very, very cool. And I'm not into like necessarily giving everything away. We don't have to talk about stuff that makes sense as long as it makes sense down the line.
Absolutely.
Something to live for.
Do we have to? Are we going to put that ending on this podcast?
It's up to you.
It's up to you.
You're the big man. I've been begging you You're making me into a small fry.
It's already...
Just please, pull the plug on this thing. Or pull the cord. Light this light.
It's 5:42.
Yeah. So what does that mean?
If I take an hour or two of production time to make something as an outro, this doesn't get out until everybody's ready to not give a shit about it.
Oh, people have to hear it today?
The logistics of it, yeah. Nice.
So you're just full of... I'm full of, like...
ideas,
and you're full of excuses.
You've got ideas that get done here.
Yeah.
Right? That I create here.
Yeah.
So that we're ready to use it for here. And you have the idea on this day when it goes out.
Okay, everybody. Right. He's drawing like little circles on a piece of paper with dashes.
Yes.
There's a circle in one corner of the piece of paper, and the other piece of paper, the other corner of the
I thought the circle was more dramatic.
Diagonally down the page.
It was more dramatic.
There's a line.
The line's better.
So now,
to say it's a hyphen. It's not a line.
So now, if you don't understand what we're talking about and it's not explained, it's because of the graphics on a piece of paper you can't see.
Perfect.
All right.
We'll see you next week. This has been the Victor Stabin Project.
And we're going to do it every week.
We are going to do it every week. Look forward to it. It's going to be coming out today, which is Thursday the 25th, I believe.
And the crap has been highly redacted.
That's true. It's been edited. And next week, you will be getting it Saturday. We'll be releasing these on Saturday from now on. Can't wait to see you. Make sure you follow Victor at Victor Stabin and /Victor Stabin on all social media. Right now, we're releasing these onto YouTube, but look forward to us on iTunes and Spotify soon.
So you have a whole week to get me a helicopter and a gigantic bug.
That's what my life is these days.
You don't know how lucky you are.
That's perfect. See you guys.
Bye.